Parents, when were you forced to break the law? Last Tuesday, I received a call that my baby and Male had gotten locked in a burning car. When I got there, Millie was strapped to a gurney, with blistering red burns painted across her tiny back and legs. They had her on oxygen, and the tiny mask covered half her face. Looking back, I should have noticed that my MIL was only left with some mild redness and a sore back. Nothing more. I got in the ambulance with Millie, and during the ride to the hospital, her breathing became labored. Barely a whisper of what it should be. Her body was going limp. We managed to arrive, and she was taken to the back immediately. When the doctor finally emerged 6 hours later, his face said everything. Millie would survive, but the burns were severe and deep. Possible nerve damage that might never heal. That's when a CPS worker appeared at my elbow like she'd been waiting. We need to talk about what happened today. She explained someone had called in a concern suggesting I was responsible for what happened. You have 72 hours to prove the car wasn't purposely set to be locked by you. Otherwise, we're placing the baby with a safe relative while we investigate. A safe relative? You mean, your MIL has already volunteered. She's the one who rescued the baby after all. My stomach turned to lead. The next morning, I drove to my MIL's house to examine her car, and that's when my neighbor Janet flagged me down. I saw your mother-in-law's car sitting in her driveway all morning yesterday. She didn't move until the ambulance showed up. I confronted my MIL immediately, and asked her why she lied about being on the road. Oh, sweetie, you're so emotional right now. I can see why you struggle with parenting when you can't even think clearly. You're attacking my parenting. She leaned back in her chair, examining her nails. I'm saying that when you beg someone to babysit last minute and your baby ends up hurt, maybe you should look in the mirror before pointing fingers. Later that day while she was at the country club, I had her car professionally inspected. The windows rolled down perfectly. The AC blew cold air. Every single feature worked flawlessly. Nothing that would trap someone inside. 60 hours left. That evening at a family dinner, my 7-year-old nephew tugged on my sleeve while I was getting him juice. Aunt Sarah, is Millie okay? I heard Grandma put her in the punishment car for too long. My blood turned to ice. What punishment car, sweetie? He looked down at his shoes. The hot car where bad kids go when they cry too much. Grandma almost forgot about me once and it made me cry. Before I could stop myself, I was walking across the room and confronting my MIL. What's this about a punishment car? She actually laughed, waving her wine glass dismissively. Those children have such imaginations. Though between you and me, your baby does cry more than my other grandkids. Some children just need more discipline. 48 hours left. I took everything to the police station. The changed story about driving, the perfectly functional car, my nieces and nephews' comments about punishment. The detective barely glanced up from his paperwork. So she was in a hot car with the baby and the baby got hurt? That's not a crime. Old people have thicker skin, handle heat better. But she lied about driving. The windows work fine. Could be confusion after trauma. File a civil complaint if you're that concerned. 36 hours left. I hadn't slept since Tuesday, and Millie was still in the hospital, her tiny body wrapped in gauze and bandages. I spent the night at Millie's bedside, watching her breathe through the pain medication. At around 3 a.m., a social worker came in with paperwork. Your mother-in-law has been very involved. She's been here twice already, introducing herself to staff as the temporary guardian. 24 hours left, and my MIL was already acting like Millie was hers. I drove to my mother-in-law's house one last time, desperate. I begged her to just tell me what really happened to Millie. She smiled that cold smile and reached for her phone. I'd like to report an unstable person at my home making threats. The police arrived within minutes. Different officers, same dismissive attitude. Ma'am, you need to leave now or we'll arrest you for harassment. With 12 hours left, I called Zach, my cousin who'd done 2 tours in Afghanistan. I explained everything while sending him Millie's medical photos, the burn patterns that looked exactly like direct contact with hot metal. In response, he only said one thing. What do you need? By 3 a.m., we were parked outside my MIL's suburban Craftsman. She lived alone, always bragged about not needing anyone. Zach had brought zip ties and duct tape from his garage. We didn't even need to break in because she never locked her back door. Too proud of her safe neighborhood. My Mile woke up to find herself tied to the driver's seat of her own car, the same car where Millie got those burns. I turned the heat to maximum and sealed every window shut. Her eyes went wide with recognition when she saw me in the rearview mirror. It's been 5 minutes, I said calmly. You were trapped for 20, right? That's what you told everyone. She was already starting to sweat, struggling against the zip ties that held her wrist to the steering wheel. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to tell me exactly what you did to my baby. The actual truth. Her eyes went wild with pure terror. She was desperately trying to speak through the duct tape over her mouth, making muffled sounds. I slowly peeled the tape off. Full story on channel, link below.